I'm going to go live, by the way. It's Tom and Ruth here. We're talking in the early stages, the early planning stages of Ruth's parenting program, and we're going to do a screen share and talk through the various things, but I'm going to find it now, if I can. Now, I'm guessing that you will have sent it to me just a normal email, and I'll find
Gmail attachment.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. Yeah, I got it. So, from Ruth.
And I'm on my phone because I haven't worked. I don't know why this isn't working, but anyway.
You haven't got it working yet? No.
Yet.
Don't worry. Don't worry. You get there. Inch by inch. I was saying with some of the stuff we're doing with Living Out Loud, we're teaching people how to learn to build the plane as they learn to fly it. Because we don't really know what we're doing. I mean, of course we know as much as anybody. You know, this is the thing. This is really new stuff that we're using in this kind of the technology. The idea of reaching people and you know, getting it out there. Now I've got your document. So this is how you would do. Look, can you see my screen? You can, but you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to the top left. And this doesn't make any sense actually, because you won't be able to compare this. You're on your phone, aren't you? But anyway, if you're on the desktop version, which you will get sorted out, there's a green square second from the top with a white arrow on. You press screen share. Any file that's open on your desktop will come up, and then I'm going to share it, and then you can see it. Right? So you can see this now, yeah?
Yep. And I'm on an Apple, so where is the square for screen share, please?
When you say you're on an Apple, what do you mean?
I mean, well, I'm on my phone right now, but if I was to share with you and I was on my desktop, where do I find that sharing?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Are you logged in on your desktop?
I am.
Because if I invite you again, you can click on in your desktop and you can join it. You can be on both.
Yeah, well, for some reason, it only rang on my phone, and so I didn't want to lose you, and so I answered it because there was no ring on my desktop, which usually I thought, and I was logged into G+, and I thought that that's how I reach you, is to be logged into G+.
Normally it comes into G+, but if you go to G+ now, and if you search for me now, if you just search for me in G+, you should see the Hangout with both of us on, and you should be able to join the Hangout.
Oh, okay. So now I can see that. I had one of your files open, but I didn't have just your plain page open, you know? I sort of just stayed on a page where I'd seen something. Okay, so I can join Hangout. Okay, excuse me. Now I'm doing it. I'll just answer this. Sorry, everybody. It's so obvious when you realize. I love being obvious. Okay, here we go.
Brilliant.
All right. Good. Can you see me there? I'm echoing, so I'll jump off here.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. I'll know what to do next time, Tom. I see now. It's obvious.
Ta-da!
Thank you.
You're back on. Right, so now this is good. Now I'm doing the screen share, but I want you to screen share the same document so you learn how to do it for next time.
Yep.
Is it good teacher? So basically, on the top left of your screen, you shouldn't see anything, but as you slide your mouse over, you see a bunch of icons on the left. Yeah?
I'll just get rid of that. I'm just looking at like you mean the Apple sign? I'm sorry, not sure. Preview, file, edit?
No. In the Hangout.
Oh, in the Hangout.
In the Hangout.
All right, in the Hangout.
In the Hangout, when you put your mouse to.
Ah, the green screen share. Okay, got it. Oh, I'm catching up now. Yep, got it.
Click on that, and then it should give you an option to share any of the open documents that you've got. So you click on the PDF or the JPEG or whatever it is that you've got.
Yep. Is that working?
It is working.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Dun, dun,
That's so
dun.
good.
Yeah, it's good.
Ta-da!
So you can make that a little bit bigger if you can. Can you make the zoom in top left hand side? Press the plus button.
Oh yeah, zoom in. Yep. How's that?
That's perfect. So
Okay.
and scroll up a tiny bit. Or yeah, that's it. So I can see the top. Okay, nice,
Yep.
nice. That's really
Okay.
good. Okay,
Okay.
so let's talk through any of the aspects that you're not, perhaps not sure about, or any of the questions you want now with this in front of us.
Yep.
Because for me, it's all there already, really. I mean, I can't really see that you need to do much with it. But let's talk through it and see if you can explain it to me in a way that you'd be talking to other people, and then we'll see how how well thought out it is for you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, far away.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Well, I was imagining that the center is the week 1, phase 1, and I was imagining that in that week it would be very helpful to not only introduce myself, but to find out what people want from the course. So I might list down, just from feedback, there might be a way where we can just get them to tap in and type in what their needs are, what they think that they would like from the course. That it may or may not address those things, but at least I'd know where they're coming from with why they'd be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would give me some feedback about some of the ongoing modules, which are really, half of the course will be based around investigating our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So by beliefs,
yeah.
I mean, yes, the beliefs are really what a belief is basically a chronic thought, a thought that we've had so often we don't even question it.
Correct.
Okay, so
yeah.
These unquestioned thoughts, and in the context of the thought algorithm about the script and the capacity to choose, then it's another way of looking at that. But I'm also investigating thoughts from the perspective of the work of Byron Katie. So I have with this. I just think that it's an extra tool, another way of another inroad, and
sure. Absolutely.
It would, and it would be something which, as the support person, to be able to respond to people from underneath that script is very useful, and I find the work of Byron Katie very useful, depending on how deep people are in their story, in their script, and the script is just that collection of stories that we really believe about ourselves and about the world.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Go back almost a bit. You're seeing this as being a very specific course, which is you're going to coach people through, rather than it being a standalone thing that people can go through without you.
Well,
I'm picking that up.
In my mind, the idea of doing this together is, you help me to verify and validify this whole context, and also to launch and all of the beautiful things that you're gifting me and gifting others by just being present. Is there's also the whole context of the app, in my mind, is that there's access and availability through the WhatsApp chat, the community formed, and it can be the greater community and the specialized locus of the course. And so it's being able to follow through, and as you know, that's the context of what you're doing is the application and the being able to do it. The actual. It's all very well to learn something, but as you know, the script has a really good way of compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Compartmentalizing. Compartmentalizing into something that you have done, and therefore you know it, and therefore you should know it, and then it has all different ways of not allowing you to actually take action. So
Yeah.
I would like to be able to be a facilitator of action rather than, to actually, it would just give them another way of beating them up over the head if I give them information that they're not able to take action on.
I agree. So the end in mind that you're beginning with is that this is we've got the app, because we're talking in January when we'll be releasing things properly and up and running, and we will have the app, and it'll be exactly the same delivery system. What that will. Now, the question would be whether the Udemy course itself, with or whatever platform we decide to put the content on, the main body of content, which the app will have access to, but the app is really for what I'm doing with WhatsApp, isn't it? It's just like asking a few questions, just putting a few things in from time to time, but allowing the group to kind of help each other and support each other. So at the moment I have the content stored elsewhere, which is effectively on Udemy. Now, people don't need the app or the app experience, the WhatsApp experience, and the live coaching experience in order to make sense of the program, make sense of the Science of Getting Rich course or the Reasonable Eating course. They don't need it because they can do it without. Of course, it's infinitely better having someone live coaching you through it. But what I'm asking is, if you aren't coaching them, is the stuff on Udemy going to stand on its own, or will it always, for example, if someone doesn't have you coaching them, what will they do in week 1, whether it's awareness through parenting?
Well, that's a good question. In my mind, it's I think it's important to have access to the facilitator. It's because it really is such deep work. They can get the context of it, and that's the whole idea of going through the 13 weeks and then going deeper another 13 weeks and going deeper and deeper, is to have that capacity to really go, to be alert, to be aware. I think it's relationship, and for me, this is a course about relationships. So for me, it's important that there is access within this context. Yeah,
I understand it. Look, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Yeah. I'm just saying that if it will probably be, it will need to be fairly clear then to people that you might even make the actual content free on Udemy then, because it's not going to be necessarily that valuable on its own. It's going to be the real value is going to come if they're being coached through the program in perpetuity, really, by you for as long as they want, using some sort of pay-as-they-go monthly program that fits in with the app model, so that obviously you make your money, and plus we cover the costs of delivering all the data and the communication. And that won't mean that people can't get benefit out of it, because we'll have video content which will talk people through this stuff, so that if we're not right there right then, and it's week 4 and we're focusing on the heart and the conscious guiding your inner child or whatever, for example, they'll still be able to go and get the nitty-gritty and get the sorts of questions that they need to be asking each other, and the sorts of thinking and the algorithms of the script and the sausage machine and all the awareness stuff, and they'll be able to get all that. But you will be stressing very much the real key to this would be in being coached, kind of just walking people through the process, really, rather than just letting them just go, here's the information, just, as you said, read it, think it's great, and then do nothing about it until the script beats you up for not having done anything yet again.
Yes, I feel that, Tom, and I'm interested in the best way to go about that. So that'll be part of the feedback, I think, that people will be able to give me, in that context. But because of your app, it makes it feasible to do this follow through, and and I recognise, you know, that's to do with my availability, not necessarily yours, and I get that. Yeah, I do feel that's what this is about. It's being able to have the follow through and the support.
It's the longitudinal development of the individual within this parenting arena of their awareness. And I think,
Yes.
you know, you said what you're trying to do ultimately is you're trying to get people to have awareness. And parenting, like food, is something, you know, that, oh boy, doesn't it give you a chance to become aware of stuff when you find yourself, you know, raising your voice because you're tired and you haven't slept quite well, and, you know, your kid wants your attention and you haven't been giving it to them because you've been focusing on work, and then you find yourself getting a bit cross at them and you think, oh. So it's a brilliant tool. Parenting is a brilliant tool. So I really like what you're doing with this approach.
Yeah, okay,
So,
I that's how I feel about it, Tom. I just think it's really like if you were going to say, well, if I was going to land on planet Earth and have the fastest path to enlightenment, then, you know, what would I do? Well, I'd become a parent, you know?
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. It's if you can master the art of parenting, and, you know, it's a continuous process. You're always a parent as long as you're alive, right? Well, hopefully you are. And so this is it's not something that you can just in a marriage or a adult to adult relationship. One of you can walk away, right? And you're no longer in a relationship, but you can't not be a parent.
No. People try.
Your son can't say to you, you know what, Mum? Oh, I think I'm okay with. We can split up. We can split up now. Yeah, it doesn't happen. So, you know, your whole life, and you'll have a relationship, and it will change, and there'll be a lot of dynamics. You know what I think would be a really big course is not parenting children, but parenting as you are no longer the dominant player in your children's lives. You know, parenting your children when they get married, that sort of stuff. But I think that's massive, because how many situations do you know of people in the world where it's kind of their in-laws and their mother-in-law or their father-in-law is just kind of a bit of a pain in the ass? There's a relationship issue there, and it's just like, well, I'm sure it doesn't need to be like that. I'm sure if we could raise the awareness of people in that regard.
Well, this is exactly what this course can. This is what it can do. This course is about that. It's about family relationships, but it's first and foremost about parenting ourselves. So it's that relationship with ourselves, and we know the neuroscience, like people like Dr. Dan Siegel. He has incredible research around this, that it's really in the pathway to making sense. You need to be able to make sense of your own inner life and your own childhood, because once you can make sense of it, you actually pass that on to your child without your knowing.
Of course.
Integrated aspect of you, and that is shown to be what actually is the key to successful attachment, to security in a child. Yes, it is our own capacity to make sense of our own experience, and whether we actually say, you know, we don't even have to go and say, well, this was my experience, you know, and this is what happened to me. No, we just integrate it, and the child gets it, and it doesn't have to pick up the pieces from where we haven't resolved our own experience.
Yeah, I think you're onto something here. Okay, so talk me through how you've structured it. You got your 4 domains. Explain those to me as if I assume I don't know anything. You're just telling me this for the first time.
Okay, so after we talk about what awareness is and why it's important, and some a bit about the neuroscience of you know, investigating our own inner life and application to our children, then we would talk about the sausage machine. And my idea is to start with the sausage machine, because it is an incredibly simple idea of itself. I think it's more simple, this idea, than the script.
Yeah, I'm with you on. It's an easier question to ask someone. Okay, so what are you putting in?
my idea is to introduce it and also to have a visual first off and have myself with puppets demonstrating the sausage machine.
Okay.
And my idea is to use the Punch and Judy characters because I think they are the archetype. You know, it just hit me the other day that they are the archetype of the script. How Punch is like the script, but Judy is that aspect of ourselves that just keeps on going back for more and keeps on hitting the script and getting hit by the script. You know, we fight with our script. We don't. We haven't worked that out yet. And so without the just notice, what would you choose? I would continue to be Judy, you know, and Punch, both roles. And then, of course, we throw the baby out the window. The baby gets thrown out the window, and the baby is awareness. So I want to demonstrate.
So have you got a film set up to be able to do that? You've got a, I know you've got a camera now, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've got a little video camera. And the other way to do it is just straight into, you know, how Apple has this technology inside it where you could just sit in front of the screen and make a little movie. So there's that as well. Okay, so that could be even easier to just, I either get someone to film me or I just set it up. And the reason why this is important is because it shows the simplicity of it, that a child can get this, which ultimately I will be asking each parent to set up a way of storytelling, whatever it is. They can do it direct if they feel that they just need to describe it in pictures on a pad of, you know, paper with their child. But any way that works is basically it's all about being able to make sure that your child is able to understand this. So you're going to, as a parent, I'm introducing what I'm giving to you, what you're going to give to your child, and you're going to describe by the end of the course the sausage machine, and it could be through puppets, it does not matter, it could be through cartoon, whatever, drawings, you know, just whatever helps you to describe it to your child. And then the second week would be doing that with the script, more specific. So I would start with the sausage machine. I would start with that as 1 week, but I could, and this is what I need to talk with you about, I could introduce, because they're adults, obviously for the children I've got it, I start with the script and the puppets and the sausage machine are separated for the children, different weeks. But here we could combine this week together, and that's okay with me to do the puppets just continuing on from the idea of the sausage machine, and then show Punch and Judy's interaction with the baby being thrown out the window, you know. And yeah, so the more I think about it, it's likely that for the adults I'll make that 1 week.
Okay. It does. I mean, again, it's fairly early days, isn't it? I mean, essentially what you're doing is you've got the external thing, which is your own child, and then your internal consciousness, which is yourself, your inner child. So you're trying to mirror these things really effectively, aren't you? Yeah. Yes,
that's right, and show that it really is where they pick up stuff from. And if we don't know what's going on inside of us, then we will unconsciously project that onto our environment. And who is in our environment the most? It's our child. Yeah. So our child is like, and they're so open. They are waiting to pick up stuff from you. And I have many times had my little son just speak my words that I'm thinking in my mind. He will just speak them right out loud.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And they do. They literally pick up from us and they just mirror it back. Okay? And you know, when they pick up your irritation, they'll mirror that back. But they also pick up the unconscious thought that you haven't even said. Right? So they pick up what you say, and they also pick up what you don't say. And this is a way of just getting a little bit closer to understanding this without having to go into sort of any deep, you know, it's not like you have to, it's pretty simple. It's really actually simple, this mirror idea. And if I can really be active in my inner life, which I believe the script and the just notice what would you choose allows me to be active in my inner life without it being overwhelming. Yes, I don't have to go through some kind of deep psychoanalytic process at all.
I know, it's lovely, isn't it?
It's amazing because awareness holds me. Awareness holds me. Awareness is this amazing, gentle presence. And it is literally presence, and I become that presence. And so I become my own parent through awareness. And this is the pathway. This is why I want to do this course, because I haven't seen anything else like this that brings these aspects together, that allows us to be innocent in our process. Because yes, you know, who is the parent in the room, and who's the one that's yelling and screaming and carrying on and being the, you know, the tantrum child? Well, it's often the parent. And then being able to be aware, but we have this tool where we don't have to hit ourselves over the head anymore, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I'm innocent because it's my script. I'm fully responsible, okay? And I'm innocent. So it's like this beautiful, I just think it's profound. And I haven't seen anything like this, and I would like to be able to bring this in a very simple way, but backed by some neuroscience, you know, backed by some experience, and a way that makes sense to people, to make sense of their own inner life, and just to be aware when they're dishing out, passing it on to their children. It's just being aware and then realizing their innocence. And quite often, I think choosing for innocence might be my tagline, because for myself, I often choose for compassion. So it doesn't matter, whatever works, but it's really that I'm actually experiencing more and more capacity to just not react immediately, and that's really so. I feel so good. I feel so available, comparative. I'm not acting out of my script to the same extent that I was, and I was really, you know, I was challenged. I'm a solo parent, and I've been really challenged. The times when I've been 24/7 with my child for weeks on end, by a certain amount of weeks, you know, I've started to really act up, and I'm not proud of that. But I recognize, wow, I'm innocent, and I'm loving myself. This is I'm able to love myself in a way that I've not since I was a child. I had that natural love of myself as a child, and this is a really, it's like I've had it at moments, but I know it's ongoing for me. I'm ongoingly caring for myself, and my care for my child has amped up in those. It's always really good, I have to say, but it's really crap in the moments that I'm really unconscious. Then my best intentions completely go out the window, and then I hit myself over the head, you know, from then on, and make it much worse, right? Because I've done, you know, I've entered into the script. So for me, I'd like to stop that cycle for everybody, because it's really simple. These tools really work, and I would like to pass that on to people. So then this third square, which is the 4th week, or it could be the 3rd week. That's when I really go into this aspect, and this aspect could bring in more of the metaphysical or not, depending on, you know, what's needed. Just because I've found that it is a doorway to experiencing a universal peace that, you know, for me, I'm comfortable with spirituality, and I would like to include that in it. But for the people that are atheist, who are not ready, then I respect. You don't have to have a belief about this to work. It's really, lots of people speak at the back of our culture in lots of stories, especially for children, about listening to your heart. And this is the practice of listening to your heart. That's what I learned from this practice, and I learned that from the work of Byron Katie as well. And this has been an ongoing challenge for me. I have been constantly listening to that small voice in my head which belittles and berates and abuses myself, and that being script. And I've been a victim of my own, script.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
From teenage on, probably I had a good childhood, I think, in lots of ways. As much as my parents separated, there was dynamics there for sure. But I recognized that, the innocence is really beautiful, and the heart. Now my heart can offer me basically whatever I'm seeking. So coming from Richard Wilkins' model of we are already complete, we are emotionally complete. There is no emotion that anyone can give me, because I give the emotion. I respond with emotion. I respond with emotion. I generate the emotion inside.
Yeah.
And I recognized this before Richard talked about it. And I've been watching that, but it was him and yourself via you that was just put it into context in a way that it was like, this is what I've been, this is I'm ready, because I've been noticing this already. That I generate, I'm the one that generates the response here. And that also brings it back to who is the adult in the room, who is in charge here. Well, it's actually awareness, ultimately, or it's script, and
yes, very good. I like that.
So the heart, I would like to go into this early, which is an idea to that we can literally just sit inside our hearts and wait for our hearts to give us the emotion, the beingness, from awareness, that feeling, that state of being that we are seeking by whatever manipulations we are endeavoring to create to control our environment, whether it's going shopping or yelling at our child to have some sort of control that we think we need, what outcome that we want. Then actually that's really, we're just searching for a feeling that we want. And if we're searching for a feeling, we're not going to get it from our outside environment. So it's asking our heart for the feeling that we would choose.
I really like that, actually. One of the things that Richard says on his talks, and obviously I totally respect him. I'm always amazed whenever I spend some time with him, and he's got things at such a different level. And originally I thought it was just a deeper level, and when was I going to get there? And of course I was never going to get there, because that's where he was. I was always going to have to go straight to source, and that's what he's saying for years. But it's still, when people talk about things from their own way, it still does shed light onto them. And this idea of the heart is something he talks about all the time. He talks about, he makes a little, when he's speaking, makes a little knocking. Hear that sound? That's my heart talking to your heart.
Oh, beautiful.
And he's going, it's like, no, it's not about the heads today. Today isn't about the head. It's about, now your heart might not let me in because your script is in the way, but this is what I'm doing. I'm just saying, hey, just let me in. And it's a lovely thing. And what would be quite good is basically to be able to organize a little hangout or a VC. VC is a technology which enables us to get better quality better quality video, but we could easily do a hangout with a screen share with Richard, because the screen share from Google is actually really quite good quality. So you could do a screen share, and you could have, okay, we're focusing, like some of the things I've been doing for Brian Sykes. When you're actually on the screen, the quality is really quite good. So provided the connection's fine and the audio's okay, then I'm sure Richard would love to. Well, I'll ask him to.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I would love to speak with Richard.
Yeah. That'll be really cool. Well, he's doing a program like this. I mean, it's not like part of Team 10K, of course, because he doesn't kind of work to deadlines or anything like that. But he is. I'm doing some filming with him in a couple of weeks, actually. No, next week, 26th of August. That's next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's quite good that we're starting to do a program which is, as a lot of his ideas turned into his own 13x4, and that's going to be really nice. And then he's going to have an app as well, which will be, to get, because I'm going to sign up for that. I'd love to be part of his kind of like week by week sort of cool Richard in your pocket experience. That'll be really cool.
Yes.
So it's exciting. Listen, I'm going to have to let you go in a few minutes, but I think you're, in general, look, you're really onto something. What you might need to do is just think about how you would explain this to Harry himself, right?
Yes.
And go through, because I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, obviously. In terms of getting it to a level where it's kind of instantly, not accessible, accessible is the wrong word, but what I think you want to be able to do is kind of show the whole thing to a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and just them understand what we're doing as well. And I think if that passes the test, because I think that's the whole point of the parenting program, isn't it? It's like learning to talk in a language and communicate in a language that the other person understands, whether it's your inner child or whether it's your actual child. And there's no point being super highbrow and talking about algebra when your kid just wants to learn his times table and stuff. So I think that what would be really nice as a test is say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. And of course, he's your best critic and your best teacher, but also your best friend. So it'd be brilliant for him to be able to say, okay, can you see when these are the things that I'm doing, and then how it works, and then when it goes well, and I think that would be really, really good. If he doesn't mind spending some time with you.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm doing this, is bringing him along. That's what this is about, Tom. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you. The main thing is that I would just bring in each weekly focus would be around our beliefs for that week around time, just noticing how we behave and what are our beliefs around time. So just noticing and then getting them to write down things, getting them to just put down on paper, how they're panicking because the child isn't ready because everybody needs to get out the door, and they just won't tie their shoelaces, even though, all these things, whatever it is, and it's all because inside we're panicking about time, or whatever time, whatever beliefs they are, noticing for that week, and the next week noticing money, and the next week noticing work. And in my mind, these are just things that get in the way of our ability to be in the moment with our children, to be present with our children, because we're running these scripts about time, money, work, whatever it is. And that's what...
I'm with you on that. I think that's really, really interesting. One of the things that I encourage people to notice and to pay attention to is the amount of conversation they have with their children, which is transactional, compared to the amount of conversation they have which is inspirational or deeper, emotional and about them. And most parents, nearly all of their conversation with their children is transactional, about get ready for this, put your clothes on, do your laces, tidy up, have you done this, do that, and all that sort of stuff. And it's really interesting when you start asking people to become aware of this and they think, oh my goodness. And I find that I do it more than I think I do it, more than I thought I did. And so hang on a sec. If every conversation with somebody, any individual at all, is largely transactional, you'll be thinking, well, hang on a sec, how is a relationship being able to flourish if it's all about transactional, rather than, well, what do you think? Let's have a look. Let's explore this. What do you think? And as you say, I think you're right, because people are worried about stuff, and that anxiety and panic, and also this feeling that they've just got to get stuff. Classic one with meal times and just getting kids to finish their food quickly. And I say, well, actually, that's exactly the opposite. You want time with the children. You want them to chew their food. You want them to eat. You want them to talk. You want them to have it to be a really nice social thing. But eating time to the family is nearly always just something to get done. Come on, hurry up, finish your food.
Yes, and it is all that stuff that it's amazing when we start to see it, that it's automatic. It's just automatic, and that's what we mean by script. It's just automatic. It's not conscious. There's no awareness with it, and that's it. So that's good what you said about bring it to the awareness of a 9-year-old, and that's appropriate. And I can work through that. I'm going to be meeting with my teacher tomorrow via Skype. She's my teacher of the work, and just discuss she's very excited. She says she's really happy about this whole idea. So I would just talk through some things with her and make the work really accessible, because I'm bringing in the work into the middle of this, and I want to keep it, because the work is extremely deep in it of itself.
Good.
And
yeah.
that might be a separate wheel at some point, but I do think that it's a really useful tool inside of this to have this extra inquiry.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way to do anything. As I keep saying, and you'll hear me say this probably every day at least once until I die, which is, helpful is a more important paradigm than true. So if you find something helpful for you, there's a good chance that other people will find it helpful and use it. Absolutely. And I think this is sometimes people get really proprietorial or proprietary about stuff, and they say, oh no, you can't mix that with this and all that sort of stuff, and no, this is important, I don't want the brand to be diluted. You do whatever you like, Ruth. This is your thing. This is the only thing that you're doing that is fixed, really, is that you're going to focus on one thing at a time, and with the idea that if you get marginally better at these things by just focusing on them one at a time, you'll get closer to the vision of what you want to create for yourself. Whether or not it's marginally getting better at things like the script or awareness or the work or the sausage machine or anything, doesn't really matter, does it? It's entirely up to you.
No. Well, the idea is at the end that they would make their own wheel, so they would come out with what they want to focus on for the month or whatever way they want to do it. So, bring awareness to the things that they want.
This isn't a straightforward one. This isn't one where you just, you've got all these things sorted and you just like hammering them into a 13x4, which is like a lot of the ones that I'm doing with people. They know their stuff, they've been doing it for years. So this is really interesting. It's really organic. It's kind of developing, and I think you're right to give it plenty of time. We're in no official or unofficial rush. You originally said sort of week 5 would be kind of when you're about ready to get going, but if you need more time, then fine, take as much time as you need. There's no rush to where we're going. There's no competition where we're going.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom. I'll let you go, and I really appreciate your time. Yeah,
no worries. It's lovely to be appreciated. Have a great rest of the day. All right, cheers.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.